Welcome to Big Blend Radio, where we celebrate variety and how it adds spice to quality of life. Welcome, everyone. I've been really excited about today's show. We have Katherine Marie joining us to talk about her brand new book that just went out yesterday. It is called High Five Your Spirit Guides. And I think we all have that moment where we talk about our spirit guides, and then is it woo-woo? Is it not? And I'm going to tell you, Katherine Marie is not woo-woo. Are you? Or are you? Welcome,
Well,
Katherine. Well, I think it's people get nervous about this because it kind of is like, is this now, betraying a religious belief or something like that? But I know that you have a background of, computers and IT and data. And so you've got that, right side brain going. And really, it's all kind of connected, I think,
Oh, totally agree. And thank you. It's very nice to be here. I'm excited to be on the podcast. I like what you do. So this is
Thank
going
you.
to,
This is going
yeah.
to be fun. And it's cool to get a book out. Is this your first book?
This is my first book under Katherine Marie, my first nonfiction book. I have written some fiction in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell everybody this journey of getting into understanding spirit guides, because like I said, some people are scared of it. Some people are fully embracing it. I actually think we're embracing it more now, even
hmm
though in ancient times, I think we really embraced it. And then I don't know, as civilization and society did things, they kind of said no to it anymore. But now we're starting to maybe open our minds a little bit more. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right. I think we have kind of a revolution going on where people are becoming much more open to things that are spiritual, things they can't necessarily define or see or touch. And it was definitely a journey for me, definitely a journey. Like you mentioned earlier, I come from a very technical, things are black and white, you have to be able to prove it for it to be true background. And my career, my upbringing, everything was kind of based on that. And then I, over the years, started getting these sensations. Things started lining up for me. Whenever I wished for something, I use the word wished, it would come true. I was able to manifest things. I had guidance going on, communication. And so eventually I started looking into it more. I wanted to quantify it because that's what I do. What is going on? And I read some books on spirit guides, and now I'm totally in touch with it and decided to share what I've learned. And that's how the book came about, is I wanted to get out there what I have uncovered.
That's really cool. I mean, because I think sometimes it also gets put into synchronicities, right?
hmm hmm
So are they connected?
Well, I mean, coincidence, synchronicities, spirit guides, where is there a difference? And I'm not so sure that there are. I think a lot of
Mm.
people write it off because they don't necessarily want to go there in their mind right now, or they don't know about it.
I
Right?
mean, so
But
you think they're all the same?
I think they are all the same. I think there's just different words for each one. So, if a person wants to just call it luck, that's fine.
Mm,
And especially, like I point out in the very first part of
mm,
my book, is I'm not judging anybody. I'm not the
mm.
one who has all the answers. This is just how I see it. And if you want to call it luck or coincidence, go for it. But if you ever want to stop and analyze it, if you want to wonder what that nudge is, what those little whispers you get every once in a while are, then you're going to have to dig a little deeper, and you're going to have to admit that there's more to a spiritual realm going on here, and it's more likely a spirit guide.
Mm. And it's really up to you to be more open to it,
Yes.
right? I'm enjoying your book, and you do some great exercise, and I love it that you're just straight up. It's like you write like you're in a conversation with a friend. Hey, we'll try this, and you make it easy for everybody just to. It's not overwhelming. You know what I mean?
Good.
And you're not pushing it on people either, which is great. It's just kind of, here's what I found. Try this,
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
one of the exercises I did, and it was like, close your eyes and just, think of your spirit guide and see if they're going to come up with something for you to
hmm
connect. So, and I'm always into like numerology is weird stuff for me. That happens a lot. Right.
Sure.
And so I
Okay.
was like, all right, like, dude, what you got up there, man? I don't know if it's dude, gal, what, there's no pronouns for my guides, I don't think. And so I was just like, oh yeah. And then a number came and I went, no. And then I looked up the number and then it's like, well, this is an angel, not an alien number. We could have those too.
Could be. Yeah.
Why not? I'm open to all. But
Yep.
then it's like, oh, it's an angel number. It means this. And literally it's something that I'm working on right now. And I almost fell off my chair. You did that to me this morning. It's your fault.
It's my fault.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you.
Uh,
But I mean, that's kind of, but you could shove it off, which a lot of times we
hmm
do. But it was too like, whoa, wait a minute, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, mm-hmm,
Once you start going down the path, once you start opening your eyes and your heart and have a little more belief, you will be amazed. Get
mm.
ready. There'll be signs everywhere now.
I know I'm kind of in there anyway, but it was like, okay, you're putting some structure to everything,
Mm-hmm.
which is very needed. I think if people are just questioning and everything, it's like, all right, what does this mean? And things like that. You're putting some structure there for us, some
Great.
learning and
Yeah.
how to tap in and that kind of like journaling you talk about.
hmm
And
hmm
even tarot and meditation. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't meditate, but I kind of think if you're going in the realm of spirit guides, you are already going there. You are meditating.
Yeah. You can meditate in 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be a long journey. It can be just a moment where you take a deep breath and say hi to your spirit guides. That's all it takes.
So tell us about Sedona, if you don't mind,
Oh,
how that
oh
all
my
came
gosh.
together for you. That's a story.
Yeah.
I want people to hear that, and it's so funny because this happens to a lot of people in Sedona too. So I wonder
Yeah.
about that. Like how many spirit guides just go hang out and have a party in the
I
caves?
think so. Yeah, yeah. So you've been to Sedona?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've been to
Yeah, okay, okay.
Sedona, and we're based out of Tucson, Arizona. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
tell us about Sedona because it's a vortex, right?
right, it is a vortex. And I didn't know. I didn't know. I was with my partner at the time and we were traveling to
Hmm.
Tucson of all places, actually. Go figure. And we went through there and spent a couple nights. And the energy there is just wow. I mean, I was already starting to question, I was already starting to open. I was starting to think about spirit guides and spirit. And then it just was like a wave washing
Mm,
over you with all this energy. We went to the medicine wheel there where you can walk in a circle and stop at all
hmm.
the 4 points and kind of say thank you to the spirit. And it was just such an eye-opening, such a refreshing. I meditated like I never had before in the hotel room, looking out the window at the red rocks with the blue sky behind them. Just an amazing, amazing moment in my life. And I saw a
Mm.
psychic there who also said I was going to write a book, but that also helps.
But you also had time in it with crystals in a bookstore too. That kind
Yes,
of
yes.
gave you. We're not allowed to tell
Yeah.
everything in the book.
Exactly. Yeah, they started talking to me for sure. Yeah, it was crazy. I bought my favorite pendulum there. I bought it at the crystal shop there. Yeah.
How do you
It was-
know if that's the thing that I think the biggest thing is how do you know if this is genuine or your mind's making things up? Like people always go, oh, it's your imagination. And you even in your book mention things about like talk about, when we were kids, we have the imaginary friend, which everyone's like, oh,
Mhm.
it's a ghost, or then now what is it? Spirit guide, all of that. So a lot of it has always been, oh, it's just your imagination as we were growing up, especially in my era back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really how you feel. It's really hard to describe, but when you know when it's right, you know when it's real based on kind of how your gut feels, how your heart feels. You might even get you suddenly have to catch your breath. Right. It's a warm fuzzy almost
Mhm.
that you would get when you know it's your spirit guides. People do say that. They say, "Is it your imagination?" or "How do I know?" And we've all had those moments in our life when something has just lined up perfectly, and you get like tingles.
Hmm.
You get this like, "Oh my God" moment, and that is when you know that maybe it is God, maybe it is a spirit guide, but something else is happening here, and it's not just random.
Yeah, I get giddy.
Yeah, you get
I get the
goosebumps.
zoomies. I get the zoomies like animals.
There
Like
you go. That.
yeah, it's a zoomies, and I wonder about that for animals too. But you know what I mean? It's like, ooh, I'm free. Here it is. I'm feeling lighter. But it's another. I think sometimes the zoomies is that. It's like, ooh,
Yeah,
and how do we know that they aren't playing with somebody from somewhere else? I know that sounds. Now
right.
I'm going to get the woo woo stuff, right? But
I like that. I like that. You feel lighter. I hadn't ever put that word to it, but you do. You feel almost like you're lighter, like you can
mhm.
zoom. Yeah, I like that.
That's what creates it's like, ooh, yay, happy,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
movement. And yeah, you're right about that. Huh. So like when you think about you talk about the gut check. Tell people about that so that maybe people listening, is there an exercise you can share from the book, like the gut check or like what I did today, that they can really take away from that today and start to understand more of what you're sharing in your book. And then you've got all kinds of exercises, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah. There are quite a few exercises in there. The gut check exercise is a good one. I like for people who are just starting out to start by looking backward at something that's happened in their life that everything worked out perfectly. Like I imagine you have a pretty good story about how you started doing the podcast. Things had to have aligned. You had to
Hmm.
have guidance and there had to be connections made for this all to happen for us to be here right now.
Mm,
I mean,
sure.
this is just how it works. So if you look back in your past and you think, wow, there was a moment in my past when the stars seemed to align. I got the perfect job. I met the perfect person. I found the perfect pet, whatever. So think of that moment, how it happened. Like
Mm,
maybe you were just happened to be driving by a pet store and you saw in the window there was the cat you knew you needed. I mean, just remember a moment like that. And then think forward to asking your spirit guides to give you a similar sensation. So give me a sign so that I know something next is happening. And
mhm,
then you can be specific. You can say, and make the sign be repeating numbers 1111. I mean, you
mm.
can be that specific. And if it is meant to happen, you're going to turn around, the clock's going to be 1111, and you're going to
It does
know
happen.
that
It
it does happen.
it
Yes.
does. But now people say that's an angel number.
Well, it is. Angels and spirit guides are very, very similar.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they hold
Hmm.
hands. They're friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Spirit guides and angels are basically the same thing. Spirit guides are your own personal helpful presence. They're with you all the time. You can have one or many.
Mm,
Angels are for everybody. Angels kind of flit around. You can imagine that with their
hmm.
wings. They can do that easily. They kind of go from person to person as you need help. And
Yeah.
yeah, so, and I mentioned in the book the different types. You have your ascended masters, you have your archangels, you have all kinds of different
Hmm.
people on your spirit team or your soul
Mm.
team, but you have your spirit guides are basically your superhero sidekicks that are with you all the time.
Do you think that it is connected to our past and present and future? Like, I mean, we could be living 10 lives at once. Now, this is where I'm going to be woo-woo again, but we just don't know. We have
Hmm.
one soul, they say. Maybe we don't. Maybe we just go in and out. And what seems like, 100 years seems like a long time to us, may not in the universal scheme of things, right? And
Hmm.
so could our spirit guides be like our own ancestral self? Did that make any sense? You can say
It kind
no.
of did.
No,
Yeah,
you're
it
allowed.
did.
You know what I mean? Like it's our past lives hanging out
Hmm.
with us, and maybe
Hmm.
even our future lives.
Yeah, you're not the first person that's actually told me that. So no, you're not too far out there. I was actually on a different podcast and was speaking to a woman, and she discussed the fact that she believed spirit guides were people who had already lived life on Earth and then became spirit guides. Now, she didn't say it was necessarily our past life, but it could be someone who has been from a past life who's helped guiding us now. And then we later on will evolve to a spirit guide status. So, I mean, there's any
That's
which
a
way
good
you want to
one.
look at it. Yeah,
I like that.
it's,
That's good.
yeah.
Because we come back, like we keep coming back, If you
Mhm.
look at all religions in some way, they kind of pull from that same
Yeah.
cloth, you know what I mean? So I think what's interesting now is we're starting to see science and the cloth actually merge a little bit more than what used
Hmm.
to happen, you
Hmm.
know.
I
That's a
agree.
good thing. That's a good thing.
I think so. As long as people
Yeah.
keep open minds. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's so important. And
Hmm.
maybe through like with your book helping people, maybe through that kind of thing, opening your mind through this will help people have more open minds for other things.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. The
Mm,
book I wrote is one I wish I would have had when I first started feeling these feelings. And
mm,
I'm hoping that when other people read it, it will get them curious enough to go on and learn more.
mm,
Mine's very introductory. It's not
mm.
the end all be all book, but it is definitely the key to the door to get you down the right.
Oh my gosh, it's easy to read and it's fun. It's like, this is cool. That's what I was like, oh, this is, and it's like, oh, we're going quickly. Slow down. So I think it's something people can keep going back to as well. You can get a good idea. But also the whole idea of it being psychic, I think it's all connected, right?
Hmm.
It's just,
Hmm.
is this sometimes like a step further to opening up all your senses, you
I
know?
think so. I do. I do. The more you exercise that extra sense, it's gonna get stronger. It's just a practice. It's like everything else.
Mm.
You can practice connecting to spirit guides, meditating, all sorts of things, and it will get better over time. It has
Mm.
for me, for sure. I can guarantee that it will get better as you practice.
Does it help with focus on like if you're doing a project and you need to focus? Does this kind of thing kind of help you that, when you talk about being able to meditate in 30 seconds, really check in with yourself and maybe even call on your spirit guides, can that help you be focused on things a little bit better?
For sure. For sure. There's lots of grounding exercises you can do. And when your spirit guides can certainly help you with that. So I light when I get ready to write, I have a grounding exercise I do. I also light an orange candle for creativity. So there's a number of things I do. And I also call my spirit guides, my muses, to help me be more creative, let things
Mm.
flow. So absolutely, absolutely you can use them to become more focused. They're
And
not
that's
a
really going
distraction.
into ritual, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
so you're
Yeah.
setting a ritual. So it's okay. This going into how being the IT person. It's the commands, right? Like you're
Yeah.
giving your body and your soul and your spirit guides, like here's the command so everybody knows what to follow with
Right, right. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
the
Yes, a little
prompts.
program. No, that's good. You can compare a ritual to a program. So you write a
Yeah,
little program, and it goes through a certain series of steps, and you have the outcome that you desire. It's great. I love that.
this is cool. Now
I
with
should be making
then
notes.
I
Yeah,
well, I know you're writing another book, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Good, good. So you need to. The other part is when we're talking about this, a lot of people talk about the law of attraction and spirit guides and law of attraction do go hand in hand, but law of
Hmm.
attraction is not just you need what you're talking about. We need the prompts and the commands and the ritual to actually make it. It's not just like, oh, I want $1 million and it's just going to arrive on your
Hmm.
doorstep, right?
I wish it was that easy, but no, not quite. Yes, you do
No.
need the rituals and the prompts for sure. But
Okay.
your
So
spirit
yeah.
guides can help you manifest. They really can. If you are clear with your spirit guides and you have a good relationship with them and you let them know what you want, they can help put you on the right path to get there. I mean, they're not going to, like you said, drop that $1 million in your lap, but they will help you figure out a way to get to that $1 million if you're willing to listen.
Mm. And sometimes it's about we're overlooking things as humans,
Hmm.
and
All the
signs are
time.
right in front of us all the time.
Hmm.
Like,
All the time.
here, this is what you wanted, but you're not listening. We're looking at our phone as we walk down the
Yeah.
street and bump into a.
All right, Britt.
Yeah, exactly. I've watched people do it. It's kind of funny. But, so it's that distraction. And I think in this day and age where we have noise pollution from what we have created. So much noise
Hmm.
pollution. I think
Hmm.
we have atmospheric pollution. I don't know how to explain that, but like we have sound waves and it's like microwaves, the waves of a microwave going everywhere because of internet and Wi-Fi and all of that. We talk about this, as we travel the country documenting parks and public lands and this whole region of when you go into like you go into a region and they're like, no, we don't want to have Wi-Fi or cell service, and people get a little upset about that. You can feel the difference in your body if you choose to, right? Just
Hmm.
like what you talk
Hmm.
about. It's like
Hmm.
choosing to. Your body changes and it's a lot happier, healthier. You can feel rejuvenation. So I
Hmm.
feel like we have that. And through what you're doing with your book and teaching people to tap in, and this is the difference. A lot of times everyone's
Hmm.
meditate and you must say this, dude, and that's it's too like going to school. This didn't feel like it
Hmm.
reading your book. This is fun and
Hmm.
it's full of curiosity, right? So that's a
Nice.
fun thing. But
Hmm.
it's that same with all these dings and dongs and emails going and phone ding, ding, ding forever.
Yeah.
I feel like we're so desensitized that even what we're doing with your book, these exercises can actually detoxify us a little bit so that we
Yeah.
can see all the signs and things, but even just for us to calm down, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. There's a lot of external noise. There's a lot of internal noise, both. And with everything
Mm,
going on in the world, you do have all the noises and the sounds and the traffic and your phone going off, but you also have all this stuff that you're absorbing that's going on in your mind all the time. You're thinking about politics, you're thinking about state of the world, you're thinking about the cost of gas. And so you have all this going on in your head, and it's really hard to quiet that noise as well. And I recommend in my book holding an amethyst, which is a crystal. If you hold an amethyst when you're trying to connect with spirit and your spirit guides, it will help quiet the noise that's in here and in your head, and then you can focus more. So I agree. I love going to retreats where they're like, you got to not have a phone. We're not going to have reception here. You can't.
mm,
I love those because it does helps you unplug. So at least you can get rid of the external noise. And then you can start focusing on relieving yourself of the internal noise. So
Mm,
totally agree. Totally agree.
yeah. Well, it's just when, like, even what you say with the amethyst having this energy, everything has
Mm-hmm.
an energy field. So this is scientific. This is not woo-woo. This is actual science.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe rocks and gems and minerals, crystals, all of that have that energy. I don't think they're dead. Let me just put it that way.
Uh-huh.
How can they if they have energy? And it's been
Right.
proven that they have energy. So therefore, to me, just not what we understand yet. But if that has an energetic way to help you connect with your spirit guides, then it's the same thing as what we have with Wi-Fi and all of those sound waves and waves, that I'm talking about. That has
Mm-hmm.
an energy too. So we have to
Yep.
step outside of that and kind of have our own armor too, right?
Mhm, mhm, definitely. Yes. And you're absolutely right with everything has its own energy. Every stone has its own energy. I totally believe in all that as well. And people who don't necessarily believe it, but then they do believe in Wi-Fi, something they can't see, touch, or smell or feel, but it's
Mm,
there. Those are the ones I sometimes sit down and have coffee with and say, okay, let's think about this. You're telling me about things that you truly believe in that you can't see, touch, feel, or smell, but I'm telling you there is something over here that's also the same.
mm,
And that's where we get into these debates about, what's woo and what's not, what's science, what's not. But everything emits an energy. Everything.
hmm So then that's the connection. That's why we're the blend, because everything's connected, right? So that's the
Exactly.
true thing. So going into that too is, I was talking about building up your armor, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
you have a strong armor within yourself to connect with those that can help. Like you say, it's like your own team, right? Of spirit guides and those who can help and assist, but also be healthy from going to places like the retreats and everything and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
get stronger. But the armor part, some people may look at all of this saying you're opening yourself up to not just your spirit guides, but to the devil or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had
Mm-hmm.
people come to you about that?
I did. I had a podcast with Reverend Carol, and she also asked that question about what about dark forces that could sneak in. She doesn't believe there are, neither do I. But I don't believe there are dark forces. I do believe there's evil in the world, but I think it's more human manifested than it is spiritual manifested. But if you are worried about that, there are crystals you can use as well to block any negative energy, both in your life and in the spirit realm. It's Smoky quartz is a really good one to put on your
Mm,
altar or to hold in your hand or whatever if you're really worried about that. But there is nothing to fear when it comes to your spirit guide. Your spirit guides are truly here for your greatest and highest good. They bring nothing but love and light. And if you're feeling anything dark or negative, that's unfortunately coming from within you, the person, and not from spirit.
mm. Do people ask you about spirit guides being versus someone who has passed that you know? Have you had that
Yeah,
where, yeah.
ancestors. Yes, and ancestors can also be a spirit guide, part of your spirit team,
Mm,
your soul team, your spirit team. You can, whenever you need comfort or something familiar, an ancestor will usually show up.
mm,
A lot of people on my TikTok will be like, "My grandma showed up today. It's so exciting!" And I'm like, "Yes, that's perfect. Your spirit guides probably invited your grandma to come and be with you to help you through this tough time." And yeah, so the spirit of your grandmother, or your spirit of your ancestors from years and years and generations
mhm.
back, absolutely is possible.
Yeah, you may never have met them.
Yeah, you might
Exactly.
never have met them. Yeah,
Or even
yeah.
know they exist.
Uh
You know what I mean? If you haven't done the research yet, you don't know
huh.
who that is. I think I feel like we're all connected in all these different eras or whatever. And it's just like they talk about like a cosmic circle or something like that, or like we just keep coming back and hanging out together. It's a big
Mm-hmm.
party, is really
It's a
what it
big
is.
part.
It
It's a
is. It's
big
a big
party.
party. I know. But I feel like for people to understand too about the spirit guide is like when someone passes, or an animal even, we talk to the animal and we feel like they're communicating back, whether it's a person or the animal, right? So isn't that like a stepping stone into understanding like that's not woo-woo to people to do that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So animals also can be part of your spirit team. You
Cool.
can have spirit animals,
Mm,
which you can just happen across, maybe out on a walk. You can come across a spirit animal. You can have one on your actual team that's maybe in your house. Yeah, just there's no end to how you can connect. That's the best part is that when I think of spirit guides, and people ask me often, what is a spirit guide? I define it as a helpful presence that makes you feel loved. And it
mm,
can manifest in any way you want.
mm,
That presence can be a cat. That presence can be an ancestor, or it can just be a being that you imagine in your head. Like that's what I do. My main spirit guide is Nathan, and he is a tall, dark-skinned man who is a warrior. He's my warrior spirit guide. So whenever I was just connecting with him because I was getting ready to come on a podcast and I needed to be confident. And so we were having a spirit guide
Don't
conversation.
spear me, man. Don't
Yeah,
spear me.
exactly. He definitely pumps me up though. He's very much helps me become confident and ready for stuff like this.
Yeah.
And I talk to him, and that's how I visualize my spirit guide. But that doesn't, it's not one size fits all.
It isn't. And you know, my mom, Nancy, she did hypnotism classes in the States. It was, I don't know if I was born yet. And she had a lot of famous people. It was Gil Boyan, I think is his name, a very famous hypnotist. And they did past life regression. And people are like, if you do this, the devil's going to get you. And
Oh, yeah.
I've been hypnotized too. And it's like, you know what you're doing. You do. You know what's going on. You're not out of it. You're not drugged. You're not anything, you are
Mhm.
conscious. Anyway, did a past life regression and she turned out to be a little Bantu boy in Africa running around with a spear.
Oh, wow.
A
Okay.
few years later, she ends up living in Africa. And that's how we ended up in Africa doing wildlife conservation, all of her work over there. And she ended up going in to speak to tribes about not killing lions and stuff like that. She put a picture of a lion once up in a hut and somebody speared it.
Wow. Okay.
So when you said that, I was like, I just went to that. I was like, but that was a past life regression. Now, was it a spirit guide? Was it really her? What was it? We don't know, but it had an incredible impact. And
Hmm.
I mean, and she ended up going, what she said, went home. And she's definitely not a little black boy. So I think and it's never left her. That whole thing of
Hmm.
what happened was just part of her from that moment on.
Sure. Very powerful, I'm sure. Very
Yeah.
powerful.
So do you
Yeah.
think that would be spirit guide? Or is it
That's tough.
connected?
It
Yeah.
could be a past life regression. It
Hmm.
could be that. It doesn't necessarily mean it was a spirit guide. Now, spirit guide probably stepped in and ran with the ball after that and said, "Okay, you've had this experience, you've had this memory to come forward. Now we're going to do something with it." And she probably got a nudge or a hint or
Hmm.
something was
Oh
dropped in
yeah.
her path to help lead her towards that end goal.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's all connected. That's the cool thing is it's all connected.
That's what I was saying. This is fun. I
Hmm.
want people to get your book out of just simple curiosity and fun and to
Hmm.
just do the exercises because it's interesting. Seriously. And you could
Yeah.
probably do it with your friends too. And just, I don't know, would that work? Do people, I
Sure.
mean, I know people do group meditations, so.
Yeah. I'm doing a workshop actually. I'm doing a workshop at
Oh,
my book release party. Uh,
okay.
we're going to try have a little workshop where we, as a group, hopefully there's a
Hmm.
group of us who show up for the book release party, and we're going to try to all connect to our spirit guides at the same time.
That's cool. That is
Yeah.
cool. So, and everyone, we should tell everyone the website to go to is innercompassmedia.com, and that will give you links to everything you want and to go get the book, which is out now. But are you going to be doing book clubs and things like that for people? Because I think it would be so much fun for people to connect with
Yeah,
you
I
all
would like
over.
to. I would like to. I'm waiting to see how it goes with the book now being out and
Hmm.
if it gets picked up, if it's popular at all. And if it is, then I definitely want to follow it up more on a global scale, but I'll definitely do things locally here in Salem, Oregon, where I live. So
Mm.
yeah.
Now, the other thing is, did spirit guides help you write this book?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Oh yeah, big time. Big time, big time, big time. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
a lot of the ideas came from my spirit guides. It was weird because I would just know things. I would just know, okay, this crystal is your spirit guide saying this to you. This if you pick up a piece of labradorite, it means that this is like the energy vortex stone and it's going to bring all kinds of positive energy to you. And I'm like, how do I know that? So then I would go research it because I have tons of books behind me on crystals and everything else, and it would be right. And I'm
Wow.
like, wow, you guys, this is great. Wish you
So
would
it's
help me with
like,
some other stuff.
yeah, it really is. I think it is. I mean, because we are built as humans to be with other people, right? We are companion kind of people. We're not loners. Yes, some writers are, right? But there's still
Mhm.
a connection because they're connected to their characters, they're connected to what they're writing, that kind of thing. So even if you're a loner, there's some other connection that you're getting, whether it's animals or whatever it is. So we are part that. So it makes sense that we would have spirit guides just because we are not 100% loners and we can't do anything on our own. 100%.
Right, right, right. And that was another reason I wanted to write this book, is to let people know that they're not alone. They're not alone.
Mm,
That you have people around you, even if they're spirits, that love you and care about you and want to see the best things in the world happen for you, and will do everything they can to make it so. So, yeah, I really wanted people to get that when they read the book as well, is that there is guidance
yeah.
out there.
That is so important because sometimes people don't have that opportunity
Mhm.
to know that or find that, and sometimes we lose them too early over those things, and
Yeah.
there's just so much non-love in the world too.
Hmm.
Hatred,
Hmm.
bias, all of that, discrimination, and yeah, don't just turn on the news and you'll find it. It's really quite easy,
Yeah.
and unfortunate. But you
Yeah.
sometimes, even within your own family or circle of so-called friends, you're still battling it, and you need to know
Hmm.
you are not alone. It's really
Hmm.
important,
Yeah.
whether it's spirit guides or religion or whatever, but it's got to be something
Hmm.
positive to
Hmm.
help you through, because if you do feel alone, that's a dangerous place to be.
Yes, it is a dangerous place to be. Yes. So
Yeah.
I hope that people can take this away from that. You're
Mm.
not alone.
Tell us a little bit about the next book. Are we allowed to know? Or do I have to ask
Well,
my spirit guide to tell me?
well, the spirit guides do talk to each other. The spirit guides do have a spirit guide network. So
Oh,
yeah, they
do they
really
give you
do.
a
They really
report
do.
card? Do they give you,
Uh,
it's like, they're like,
they compare
hey,
notes. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I really believe, you're so right on things, and just the importance of you putting some exercises. And like I said, you're putting the structure to thoughts that we dismiss all the time. I mean,
Hmm.
because we're typically negative as humans, right? It's like, nah, no, I don't believe it. No. Meantime, you're going, yeah, but nah. We're always on that negative side. And
Hmm.
I think your exercises and the journaling and things like that, and actually making it like, hey, let's look at the evidence base, right? Really, really helps. It really does. So I think that's just a huge positive for people to check. It's not like anything woo was going to happen to you. You're not going to beam up into alien land. You're
Right.
just connecting with part of who you are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a different society that it may have been closed off to. So I think it's really cool because it's not you, like I said, wagging your finger. You're
Yeah.
letting people discover it through these exercises for themselves, which is
Yeah.
really good. And
Yeah.
to document and journal is a big deal. But yeah, the next book, are we allowed to know?
Yeah, yeah. The next book is called well, I was thinking Universal Life Blueprint, but I take the
Hmm.
universal part. So, Your Life Blueprint, Know Your Purpose is
Mm,
the subtitle. And basically, it is me explaining how I've come to understand how everybody has a life purpose, and that there's things that are going to happen in your life, whether you want them to or not, because they're part of your blueprint. And whether you resist them or whatever, you're eventually going to meet certain people. You're going to eventually go to certain places, and it's just going to happen because it is part of the universe and the plan for you. So
mm.
yeah, and also my spirit guides, of course, will be involved and have their say as well.
I think that's excellent because that's also part of understanding you're here for a purpose.
Hmm.
You're
Hmm.
here for a reason. And the negatives in life, some of the negatives, I don't know well, okay, losing people, that sucks. Like your
Hmm.
friends and colleagues and family, that's just a hard one. And the cruelty in the world is hard, and it's hard to understand like why it happens. But I have to say, just about everything that is either been really difficult or something, at some point, something good came out. Everything
Hmm.
has some positive. Even like COVID was terrible. A lot of people died. It was sad. It was a traumatic global event. However, some good things came out of it.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
use Zoom. Look, I used to
yeah.
have
That's
to
true.
run around and teach people how to use Zoom. Now I don't have to. But you
That's
see what
right.
there's always
Uh huh.
something in that. And I think we're supposed to have to go through those sometimes. There's lessons. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the yin and the yang. Everything is, circle, black and the white comes
Hmm.
around and around. Yeah, it is all connected. Yes.
Man. Well, thank you so much for what you've written and getting people to open up. I think it's awesome.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I really appreciate being on the show, and I
Yeah.
hope that people do give it a chance.
Yeah. And have everyone connect with you on social media. So TikTok. So what do you think is the age group? Is it the younger generation on TikTok that are enjoying what you're doing there?
It seems to be kind of a mixture, mostly feminine, female people, women who the demographic seems to be, but it is pretty much across age groups. So that's kind of
That's
cool.
cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. That is cool to hear. So TikTok is a place, and everyone, again, the website is innercompassmedia.com, and I'll put the links so you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you're also doing a newsletter, I believe.
I have a newsletter and I'm on YouTube. Yes. All
Well,
that.
I will sign up for the newsletter because we have
All
to
right.
watch for the next book too. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.